Join us today. I'm Art Humphrey. We're going to have a bit of a discussion today about grinding wheels, cutting wheels, and a few of the tools we use here at our shop. Maybe a little minor discussion about some of the safety issues that we go into. To start with, I want to take and discuss a few of the tools that we currently have. We use a large grinder. It spins a 9-inch hub hat disc. We use it for grinding flat surfaces and also for grinding some aggressive large materials that need more of attention. We have the smaller grinder and the 5.5-inch atypical, most people that have at home and at the small shops. And again, it doesn't remove quite the material the big one does, but it does quite a job. We have two flap disc grinders that we currently use here in the shop. This one has to be a 36 grit, and this one has to be a 80 grit. Now, the 36 grit we use for removing a lot of weld material, taking big chunks of aluminum down, stuff like that. A lot of pre-finish work before we get done. Then we use the 80 grit for a little more finish. As a disc wears a little bit, it gets grinding a little bit smoother and handles a little bit better like that. Rough wheels that we use on the machines. One is for ferrous and stainless, and then the other one is for aluminum cutoffs. And they work really well for general purpose, and we'll get into a little minor discussion about that in a moment. In a bit, we'll grind the table with the large grinder. Don't have anything to grind at this moment for this, but I'll talk a moment about the flap disc grinders. The wheels that we use are SATE, and there's quite a few good wheels out there, and depending upon your budget and what kind of performance you need, let that be the guide for what you buy. I typically recommend a 36 when you're for heavy removal, 80 for light removal, 120 for more of a finish material. Again, we don't do a lot of finishment work. We have a buffer for that. So we'll find that these two work really, really well. The most important thing is that when mounting them and handling them, make sure that you handle it, make sure it's unplugged, make sure you lock it down, and then use the tool to remove and reinstall the flap disc. When using the cutoff wheels, there's two cutoff wheels that we use. They're both what they call an 045 wheel. And one is, they're both SATE, but one is specifically stated aluminum, the other one is stated ferrous and stainless. Please do not get these confused. If you have only one wheel and you're going to cut aluminum, make sure it's aluminum. If you're going to cut steel, make sure it's steel, because they will disintegrate if used inappropriately and will can cause harm and Band-Aid usage. So be careful of that. So that gives us kind of a brief overview of what we're doing. In a moment, we'll take and put on the equipment and then start the issue of, and we'll surface grind the table, and we'll take a little bit of a sample run with the flap disc and stuff, so you can kind of get an idea of how fast the material removal is with the flap disc that I currently have installed. Well, we're going to do a little grinding of the table now, but first it's kind of fun because I've had this particular grinder since I was 16 years old when I built my first set of precast concrete septic tank forms and set truck. And on YouTube I'm going to do, or on Facebook, I'll do a story about Sid Davis, who is a great implementer of tools and welding and stuff, who also is a great teacher. Sid did make me do all the work myself, but it was kind of interesting. I said, what should I do for grinding? He said, go down and buy the biggest, nastiest grinder you can buy. Don't worry about the money. Buy it. It's going to last a lifetime. Well, I'm not exactly 16 years old anymore, and it's lasted. I've had to have it rebuilt once, but it's a phenomenal piece of equipment, and we do take good care of it. So I'm going to light up and grind the table. It's going to be a little noisy, so I'll mute that as we go through the video. Notice I'm going to take and start the grinder out completely flat on the table. I will lift it up to start it and stuff. And then as a hub hat grinder, only the outside edges of the disc will actually make contact with the surface, so I don't end up gouging the table as I grind. Okay, by doing that, I've cleaned all the welding spatter off and all the material off the table, and since it's covering a large circular area and it's grinding flat, what it does do is that it keeps me from gouging the table and keeps the table perfectly smooth. So we'll wipe it down for the next process, but at this time, it's really nice and flat. Yes, I did wear gloves, it's safety. Okay, want to now cover the flap wheel. Now we've got a 36 grit on this. It's got a little use on it, so it's got some life left in it. A piece of aluminum. So let's imagine that I have an aluminum bead that I want to take down. So first off, I'm going to take the aluminum and I'm going to take the 36 grit and I'll kind of give an idea for it. Now, everybody's giving me the dickens of the fact I don't have a guard around the unit. I do wear gloves, which may not be enough, but that's how I roll. So anyway, here we go. As you can see, the grind rate on it is fairly decent, takes the material down fairly quickly. The wheel does pick up a little bit of the aluminum, but not real bad. So, but that's like taking the top of a bead of weld down to where you can actually flatten the surface to where you've got to have a flat material where you've done a bead V-fill with a bead on top. Now I'm going to take the 80 grit and then go in. You'll notice it grinds a lot slower, but also has a nicer finish. Okay, now we have the 80 grit flap wheel. This one's got a lot of use on it, but it does do it nicer finish. So we'll kind of give a little finish here like we're taking a small bead down and look at how it looks. So obviously we didn't remove quite the material as quickly, but it does have a nicer finish to it. Now if you're running a 120 or a higher or finer grit, higher number finer grit wheel, it's going to take even to a nicer finish yet. So typically for us, the 36 and the 80s give us a nice coverage, more aggressive, less aggressive, and in steel it works the same as far as aluminum, just a little less removal at the same amount of time. Okay, here's the results of the 36 grit flap disc. Notice it's kind of aggressive. You can see some marks in it there. Again, the coarser material for removing material. It also removed a fair amount of material, as you can see. The 80 removed less material, but also is a smoother finish. So more aggressive, less aggressive. And again, this is on aluminum. Steel's going to be about the same. The only thing is that steel is going to have a little lower material removal rate because steel has greater resistance. Also to the cut wheel here, we have where we cut with the aluminum cutting wheel. And as you can see, it cuts really, really nicely and very aggressively from when that part of the video is being shown of how fast it cuts. Well, that was kind of an overview of how to use a few of the tools. Didn't do a lot of grinding or cutting or anything, but the hub hat for cleaning the table, make sure it's nice and flat. These are fairly inexpensive discs you can buy. Again, large grinder, you have to have the horsepower to spin the disc. You can't just put a large disc on a real small little grinder. The hand grinder for general smaller work that we use here in the shop works really, really well. We have the two flaps, the 36 and the 80. And then the two cutoffs. We have the aluminum and the steel. So that gives you kind of an idea what it is. And yes, I'm going to catch hell for no guards, but been using it that way for many years, and safety first. Most importantly is that when changing any of these discs or flap wheels, make really, really sure that you've got the plug in your hand, because it's so easy to have these things get turned on and just tear the heck out of you. So be safe, and also to subscribe, leave me some comments. We'll look forward to the next time. Have a great day.